go! Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, on this beautiful Victory Monday. It is, of course, once again, the Third and Long podcast. I am the incomparable Shane Harris. Above me is my beautiful baby Hope. To my left is a teacher extraordinaire, Mr. Philip Perrins. And top corner, Mr. Oliver Butler Henderson. Gentlemen, how are we all doing? I'll start with Mr. P first. How was your weekend, boy? How's things?
The curse has been lifted. Oh, the curse has been lifted. Newcastle United, after going 1-0 down, came back and defeated third place Nottingham Forest, which means that we are 1 point off of the Champions League position. So our season is back on track. And then obviously going into the weekend, typically, for those who aren't aware, in our little fandom, the parents' curse is essentially if Newcastle United win on the weekend, the 49ers lose, and vice versa. If the 49ers win, typically Newcastle United tend to lose. But the gods were looking upon us, and I actually got to celebrate a double victory. Woo!
Same. For the first time this season. Same.
I know. OBH, my friend.
I'm a shambles, mate.
I wanted to say it.
I was really good until this evening, but I digress. That's a different story altogether.
Speaking of shambles, Bolton got hammered 5-0 at the weekend.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
You know what I was going to say? Is it the first time that all our NFL teams and our football teams won at the same time, and then Baby just comes in with the but I still support Bolton.
Ollie, we lost to Stockport too.
Oh no!
So I'm not sure about. I'm not sure our former host Tom is watching, but he was a Stockport County fan.
Do you remember when Bolton were playing European football?
I do, actually. 17 years ago, Thursday, we drew 2-2 at the Allianz Arena.
Yes, I remember when Bolton were decent and they had decent players.
Now was that when you're playing Saracens?
Honestly, the amount of times I go, I'm a Bolton fan, and they just go, JJ Kocher. Is that the only thing they know?
You be sure,
you had some absolute ballers, didn't you? Like you had Campo, you had UC Escalainen, you had Kevin Nolan, you had Nicholas Anelka, man.
Fernando Hierro.
Fernando Hierro, former Real Madrid and Spain captain, of course. Yeah. Boys, I will say one thing though. My brother and my nephew went to Old Trafford, my nephew's first time yesterday, watched the Mighty Reds stick 3 past Leicester. And I think that's the end of that now. It's going to be expensive hobby for my brother, taking him all the time.
Yeah, I made that mistake taking notes. Watch Cheltenham.
Yes. It's expensive hobby.
Cheltenham's a bit closer than Old Trafford and a bit cheaper than Old Trafford.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no, he wants to go there. He always wants to go to NFL. Every year on his Christmas list is like go and see Chiefs play or go and see Golden State Warriors play.
We don't want a lot then.
No.
I've seen the Warriors play.
I haven't. The only one I've not seen is the Celtics yet. Seen every other.
We'll have a globe-trotting compadre, Andy Davis.
Yeah, he's been everywhere.
Unfortunately, the young gentleman couldn't go to Germany, could he? Because he wasn't very well. So I'm eating through pastas.
That's right. I know. I saw that. That's awful.
Should we actually talk about some football?
Yeah.
Don't mind.
Shane, kick us off.
Yes. Thank you very much. Sometimes it's better to be
cheating bits.
One minute now. Sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. Sometimes you're the bug, sometimes you're the windshield. The Ravens eked out a 35 points to 34 victory over the Bengals on Thursday night. The game came down to a 2-point conversion from the Bengals, who could not convert with not long left on the clock at all to basically push Baltimore to 7-3 and push themselves to 4-6. Our defense got torched again. Jamar Chase had another incredible game against us. That bloke is becoming a thorn in our side. What was his stat line? 17 for 11, 264 yards and 3 touchdowns.
I mean, 17 for 11, that is very impressive. 17 catches on 11 targets.
I know, it's not that.
So Joe Burrow this year has thrown for nearly 900. Joe Burrow this year has thrown for nearly 900 yards against you. 9 touchdowns. Still doesn't beat you.
Still can't win.
Well,
Still can't win.
We got to start off with that 2-point play, haven't we? Right at the very end. If that was a certain KC quarterback, that would have been given. He got it. I'm not going to say it was because there was a play in the Patriots game where Caleb Williams got slapped in the head. It wasn't as forced as the Ravens guy got slapped in the head. Or, sorry, Joe Burrow got slapped in the head by the Ravens player, but he was still slapped in the head. And Gesicki had about 3 players on him dragged down. I mean, Joe Burrow still made the wrong throw, in my opinion. But it was diabolical. I'm fed up with the refs. I've seen your hand up, Ollie. Fed up with the refs pretty much ruining the games now, because they did it a couple weeks ago with the Vikings, stop the chance of having the Vikings drive down the field to win the game. And now they've done it to Joe Burrow and the Bengals this weekend. It's the Chiefs, not the Chiefs, the refs are deciding too many games on bad decisions.
Mm-hmm.
Baby Hope, you had your hand up very patiently.
So I've seen some people absolutely burying Zach Taylor for not singing into overtime. However, 3 days prior to that, everyone buried Todd Bowles for not going for 2 points against the Chiefs. So I think the media need to decide where they stand on this, because at the moment you're kind of damned if you do and damned if you don't.
I think the Todd Bowles situation was because you're playing the Chiefs. But, yeah, it's, you've got to applaud a coach at having the balls to go for it. Dan Campbell does it every week. He goes for at least fourth down once, maybe twice a game, every week. He's not criticised for it. Okay, he was in the NFC Championship game because he went for the bit too much. But he's not criticised for it. And these other coaches have got, when they got the balls and go for it, they're ripped apart. And when they haven't got the balls to go for it, they're ripped apart. And it's not fair. At the end of the day, they think they're doing what is best for the team.
The thing is, this is obvious, but if it had paid off for them and they'd have won the game, then he would have been applauded and put on a pedestal.
Yeah.
But the refs missed a pretty blatant pass interference call because, as you said, Gesicki had 3 players on him and possibly roughing the passer also. But the refs, I don't know, had their eyes closed or something. And he's criticised.
Yeah, which is wrong.
The actual game as opposed to the bigger issue being the referees.
Yeah, but I mean, the Ravens, we don't really like to talk about them on this show, so we're just glazing over.
Inches.
I'm going to take my hat off to Lamar. And,
is that just like Joe Burrow and Lamar together for 9 touchdowns?
Joe Lamar, I think that works. That's quite cool. Joe Lamar.
Are you shipping them?
Yeah. Lamar really has thrown his hat in for MVP this week. He's cemented that. He goes, oh, yeah, I'm in here. Give me it. I mean, we were singing his praise of how good he was last week. He was chosen by Mr. Perrins as Player of the Week. But yeah, this week was probably, I reckon this week was even better than last week.
I mean, I think somebody else has shown his credentials for MVP by winning a game after throwing 5 picks, to be honest.
Can I just single one player for special praise? He only made 3 catches on 3 targets. Tyler Wallace, 115 yards of 3 catches. He's got a knack for basically making game-winning plays like he did against the Rams in overtime last year. He doesn't do a lot, but when he does, it's pretty spectacular.
That tightrope for the touchdown, that was incredible.
All 84 yards. He literally tightrope the whole 84 yards.
He did. It's incredible. Amazing.
If only Isaiah Likely could do that, stay in bounds.
Bryce is completely all right because, this coming Sunday, nothing else matters. And to quote a famous band, nothing else matters. We're going to kick their cat. We're going to win Sunday against the Steelers, and that's me being very PG. Pull towels down.
We'll talk about that in a minute. Shane, you're taking a leave on that game.
What? Which game? I'm not doing that.
The Washington game, mate.
No, I'm a broadcast journalist. Fair enough. Yeah, see,
Yeah, I think
Sanders got robbed.
Yeah, your secondary. Did they actually play in the second half?
As I said, but the original had like been pictures of them on milk cartons and missing person posters around the stadium. Because I don't know what's going on, but I think the fact that Mike McDonald has gone to Seattle and Zach Orr is in his first year as a defensive coach, even though they brought in TPs to help, they're still struggling. I think if this offense wasn't as good as it is, was as high powered as it is, I think we'd probably have a negative record by now.
I guess. Yeah. Or was it that Jamar Chase is just that good? Can we put Jamar Chase as in probably the best wide receiver in the league at the moment?
I'd say so.
I wouldn't disagree.
Cool.
I wouldn't disagree.
Conversation we just had. Right, let's roll into. Let's go to Germany, gentlemen. Bryce Young winning the back-to-back games for the first time in his NFL career. Looked happy, looked confident, looked composed, apart from the pick. He looked like a genuine first round pick.
I'm not gonna lie, I was watching this on a train and my signal kept cutting out, so I didn't really see much of this game, so I can't really add much to this one.
Mr. P.
There is nothing better in pro football when you're watching young players play with smiles on their face. Like, it's amazing sometimes, and we take for granted being fans of the sport, how the weight of the world and the weight of the franchise is on your shoulders when you're a quarterback. It is the most important position in any pro sport. I'm just like, any sport that has team attached to it, the quarterback is the most pressured position.
Yeah.
And when you've come off the back of your rookie season where questions were being asked, were you a mistake? Then you were dropped, then you were brought back in, and all these different things that were brought up about Bryce Young. And I said last Thursday that I really feel with this Panthers team in particular, they're starting to work in the right direction. They've got a plan, and I don't think their plan is tank bowl. Their plan is to really see what this young team is made of, to see, what's the future going to hold, who's going to be there next year. And just there's a couple of plays where, Bryce Young got hit really, really early on, but he just got back up. And then, I think his O-line was phenomenal as well. I think I might have commented during when Hubbard had that insanely long run at the left tackle. Actually, you just see him like push. I think it was the outside linebacker or the DB, completely out the way, and without that particular pressure, Hubbard doesn't go and make 30, 40, 50, 60 yards or whatever it was. And then when he actually threw his touchdown pass, I mean, I saw it as it happened. He was about 5 yards out, and he could have ran for it himself. Like, he had space to do it, but he decided to pass it to his teammate. And his teammate got the essential, the easy catch. And you just see Bryce Young just beaming, like, he looks so happy, and I love that. And then you flip it to the other side of the ball, and you just see Danny Dimes look like he'd rather be anywhere else, and he's not even playing in New York. Like, he doesn't want to be there. You can just tell that no one that plays for the Giants, maybe Dexter Lawrence, is literally there.
And possibly Malik Neighbors, but yeah, I mean, so I was traveling back from birthday lunch with my dad on Sunday, so I was listening to the first half on the radio. And hands off to the guy, they were really, really good. It wasn't Rich Eisen. I can't remember who it was because Rich Eisen was on the telly.
It was Kurt Warner.
They were really, really good. But yeah, I mean, you could tell like Daniel Jones. You can just see Daniel Jones isn't the complete problem, but he's part of the problem in New York. 190 yards, 2 interceptions. Yes, he ran in one, and he ran for 26 yards. That's probably the only thing that's keeping him as a starter at the minute.
He didn't run for a touchdown. Oh no, he did. Sorry, yeah, he did. Yeah, sorry, I'm looking at the wrong stats.
But you've got to feel for Tyrone Tracy.
Yeah, 100%.
It was a good defensive play. But we see this a lot with running backs, especially in New England. They like to fumble the ball. But a lot of it's ball security. And you see it a lot. There's a lot of punch-outs and ball security. There's a great defensive play, but the guy was broken. He ran 100 yards, and he played incredibly well. He kept them in the game. Both running backs really had an absolute stellar game, Hubbard and Tyrone Tracy, for both teams. But you've got to feel for that young man.
Yeah. So if you're in that New York Giants situation now, like, and you go into like the next, you're 2-8, like you're in a tough division anyway because you're not going to get any playoffs at all because one, your record, and two, the Eagles and the Commanders are infinitely better in every respect, and the Cowboys are going to cowboy. Where do we see the Giants going from here? Like, what fundamental things need to change? We've said before, the draft class for quarterbacks this offseason is not good. So do they keep Danny again? Because I don't think there's any free agent quarterbacks that's going to be up for grabs that you could look at and go, oh, they'll improve the Giants. What do you do in the organization? Because they're literally like an island of their own, and I can't really see how they're going to maybe invest in the line, like defense as well as offense. That seems to be the go-to thing for any struggling team. That's actually enforce the trenches. What would we do, Shane?
Well, they brought in Brian Burns and Illuminor as well in pre-season, and Brian Burns, as we know, is a hell of an acquisition for anybody. But then, they just haven't turned up. I think Danny Dimes is stuck there now for a while because of that massive deal he signed. He's stuck there for a while.
That guarantee deal.
Exactly. Yeah. So if you can't cut the quarterback, the GM, will probably be given a stay of execution. There's only one man's head that's on a chopping block. Fans will want results. I think Dable's time is up shortly.
Well, he's in his third year now. He is in his third year.
100%.
And you're also in the GM's third year. Now, the head coaches, you are normally given 3 years. Bye. And I said this, it's like, right, you're going to have to stick with Daniel Jones, like Phil said, because the quarterback class is that poor going into it. There's probably Ewers, maybe Saunders that could do something.
Cam Ward.
Is he eligible?
I think so.
The Florida guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Miami guy.
Well, Miami is in Florida. But there's not really a massive amount out there. So if they drop 4 or 5 places to, say, number 5 pick, you're risking not getting a quarterback. So build around Daniel Jones. Then if he doesn't, you've got that. Go for it, because next year's quarterback's class is going to be a bit stronger. You got the Bama one, and you've got possibly Eli Manning's nephew coming in as well. Arch Manning possibly coming in next year as well.
I love that you just didn't just say like one of the Mannings, like
one of many.
Yeah, another Manning in New York. God help us all. Dable's got to go. I think Dable is the problem in there. But generally, hats off to you again.
Yeah,
you're really, really good. And for the people who didn't hear or haven't seen, but the commissioner has pretty much announced that there are going to be 8 games, international games next year, and one of them possibly including Ireland.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Which would be epic. And talk about Ireland. Pittsburgh do have the marketing rights in Ireland, and they managed to topple the Commanders, didn't they, Shane?
No. Are they got to be any closer to me? Don't want them anywhere near me. As I said, Washington were robbed. But I had that game on last night, and I was like, no, just no. But no, they're grinding out results all the time. They're really starting to come into form. And it was mad in the offseason. They brought in Justin Fields and Russell Wilson. They weren't sure who was going to be the starter. Nobody really batted an eyelid because they didn't do a lot last year. I mean, as I've said before, they didn't draft particularly well. They didn't bring anybody else in who would sort of influence. And they brought Preston Smith in before the trade deadline from Green Bay as well. And he looks like a hell of an acquisition, which we knew he would be. I just cannot stand this, and I can't wait to just wipe that smile off the smug face on Sunday.
I think it'll be them wiping that smug smile off your face. To be honest,
It's the hope that kills you, baby. It's the hope that kills you.
I'm right here, mate.
I said this a couple of weeks ago, and I said it again, and I'll say it again tonight. Russell Wilson is slowly having a really good season. His last 3 games, he's been good. Sorry, Shane, but he has been really good. And, I'm not... My estimation of Russell Wilson went up when I saw him at Boston on starting 5, supporting the Celtics. So my,
Well, obviously. Yeah, I get that.
went up at him. But Mike Williams, that's a really good acquisition. George Pickens, what a catch!
What made me laugh about that is about 2 plays after that, Russell Wilson throws a pick when throwing to George Pickens in double coverage. George
Yes, he
Pickens doesn't bother with the ball carrier, but suplexes the DB.
Firstly, what do you know about suplexing? Not a lot.
I know what it looks like.
He's learning from you boys.
Yes, he
So-
is. We're teaching you.
He doesn't bother with the guy that's just caught the ball, but the other DB gets absolutely body slammed.
Love it.
Yeah.
George Pickens is a meme all to himself.
He's a
Some of the
meme.
things he does is brilliant. Yeah, I'm not going to bother you. Carry on. Oh, I'm going to suplex you instead.
It was
Jayden
like last year
Daniels.
when the ball bounced about a yard from him in a fumble, and he just sort of stood there looking at it.
Yeah, I think everyone gave up on Pickett last year. To be fair.
Yeah.
Steelers, can they win your division, Shane? Taking off your
Oh.
Ravens hat.
Can't do. My hair needs cutting really badly. What's left of my hair? What's left of my hair needs cutting really badly.
I was about to say,
yeah.
what hair?
Oh, that's twice now. Come on, recycle. What are you starting to recycle the old jokes for? I think they can.
Gold, isn't it?
I think they can. With our defense being as suspect as it is, the Bengals. The Bengals can't afford to lose a game now for the rest of the season. Otherwise, they won't touch the playoffs. And Browns are going to brown. So, yeah, I think it's a 2-horse race in the AFC North between ourselves and those horrible towel twirling people.
Do you all think the Bengals are good enough to win out?
No, not the next 6 games. No, it's not 6 games, is it? Yeah, no, it's not. 7 games.
7. Did Zach Ertz cross the line?
Yes.
Yes. You knew I'd say that, though. 100%.
I genuinely think he did.
Yeah, the way he caught the ball and he felt, in fact, it's literally on my screen now. The way he's caught the ball, it's in front of him, he's pulled it in as he's pulling backwards. He's crossed the line again. I don't know why I'm falling backwards because it ruins Mike, but he's literally falling backwards with his ball in hand. He's crossed the game line. I don't get what angle they are looking at. That doesn't give it. Perhaps they don't want Washington in the playoffs. Who knows? Who knows? Sorry, did I say that? Right. Over to Arizona, Glendale, and who's the problem in New York, gentlemen?
How much?
Aaron Rodgers.
Mate, we got time.
Aaron Rodgers, the defense isn't exactly great. Mainly Aaron Rodgers, though.
I said maybe 1 or 2 weeks ago that Sauce Gardner is potentially one of the best corners in the league. I saw a stat this day. He misses more. He's missed more tackles than any other defensive back in the league.
Wow.
Yeah, the Sauce Gardner we all know and love is missing in action at the moment.
Completely. I mean, last season must have literally wiped it out of the whole defense because there's nothing like they were last year. I mean, James Conner had a field day. Kyler Murray was like running around like he didn't care. He jogged in that one of his 2 touchdowns. I mean, the only good thing about that Jets defense was the hit from Quincy Williams.
Yeah.
Marvin scored again.
Yeah, sometimes they have like player/manager in soccer,
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers is basically player / GM, isn't he?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, but like, unlike when, say, Peyton was doing it or when Tom was doing it when he went to Tampa, Tom and Peyton both have the emotional and mental maturity that comes with it, whilst Aaron Rodgers has, and
Is a
I
petulant
went
child.
he is, and I'm trying to like not sound like a hypocrite because I've buried him in the past, and then I've tried to praise him again, and then I feel like I'm burying him back the more that I see his influence on the team. He is a very much a talented player that's also incredibly cancerous to an organization, and I think maybe being in Green Bay for so long and them kind of like pandering to him has almost like created it. It's like when you look at like a child and they're not been parented and they grow up to be awesome. I've got parents even tomorrow night, guys, just to let you know as well. So like you kind of go like, oh,
Okay.
that makes perfect sense why the child has ended up like that because of look at their parents. And that's kind of how I feel
Oh, I know that so
about
well.
Aaron Rodgers now, if that makes sense. But like that's kind of how I'm seeing Aaron Rodgers at the moment. I don't know if you guys kind of like agree because he kicked up such a fuss. He left Green Bay. He's gone to New York. Was supposed to be his haven. He had this little stupid darkness retreat because he thought he was Batman, and he kind of then he's kind of not really. I mean, he's got his head coach sacked, and that has changed nothing.
No.
So it's yeah. I mean, the whole team only had 151 passing yards yesterday, which is
Yeah.
ridiculous. And they had 9 players that were targets as well.
It's
Yeah,
also
it's
like
ridiculous.
it's also like I want you to bring in all my friends.
Which by the way, is not unheard of when things like this has happened because Peyton did it in Denver, Brady did it in Tampa. In fact, Brady even managed to get in Antonio Brown as well and got Antonio Brown a ring. So this does happen, but Peyton and Tom kind of had them on lock because they themselves were disciplined and knew exactly, what to do.
100%. And also,
Aaron doesn't. And that's what will always separate Aaron from being that top tier of, that Montana, that Brady, that Manning, that Drew Brees to a degree as well, because of just their mental and emotional maturity when it came to the game.
I love it when you're on a rant, parents.
I love
it. No, I couldn't agree more with what you have just said yet, man. I call you man because I didn't realize how much younger you were than me.
A lot.
A lot.
8 years. A lot. Garrett Wilson is suffering, I think, because of this as well. Garrett Wilson's got the ability to be one of the best wide receivers in this league. But having this petulant child throwing the ball to him, who only really wants to throw the ball to his friend, so I think there's 2 of them. Did Conklin play for him? Yeah, Conklin played him, didn't he?
Yeah.
Tyler Conklin played in Green Bay, didn't he, with him?
Did he?
I think he did. Can't remember. But yeah, I want to talk about another player on the Arizona side, and Trey McBride. Ollie, you said a couple of weeks ago he's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm going to put him as in the next tight end that is going to be him behind like Kittle, Kelsey, Andrews.
I'm going to actually counter that because I think the next tight end who's going to be him is Tucker Kraft. But
Ooh, okay.
He didn't play this weekend, so I can't comment about him. I really like Trey McBride. He's big, he's strong. The hurdle as well. Yep. That was a sexy little hurdle over the DB. I love that as well. They couldn't deal with him. I mean, New York just looked an absolute utter mess, and Arizona took it to them. And Mr. Perrins, you weren't the only one who went with New York, mate.
Well, I gambled and I lost. I'm speaking of like the next big tight. I actually think Brock Bowers is going to be the next big thing.
yeah, that's a great shout too.
Oh wait! A next big thing called Brock. Wait, when have we heard that before?
Who plays in the silver and black?
Oh, we've heard that before.
Brock Bowers is in the wrong organisation to be a good one of the best.
He
tight ends.
100% is. I'm really sorry, Brock, and I'm really sorry, Vaders, but like he should be somewhere better. Like he is too good for this iteration of the Raiders.
Could there be 2 Brocks on the offense in your team?
Don't.
Don't tease him with that.
If that happens, I'm getting a Bowers jersey straight away.
I mean, do you know what? One of the weeks, baby, we're gonna have to both wear our Brock Purdy jerseys at the same time.
Yeah, I'm up for that.
Yeah, but one of you have to wear Ohio State one.
I'm looking. Debo. Do you mean Iowa State? And he did.
That's what I said, Iowa State.
No, you said Ohio State.
I'm in Iowa State. Same difference. Still states.
Right. Not even the same state.
Yeah. If you said Iowa instead of Iowa State, that might have made it okay, but
On my predictive ready thing down the bottom, it said Iowa twice. So I said it once and you said it.
I heard, maybe you said Iowa, but I heard Ohio. And now he's talking without even sound coming out of his mouth. And we still can't hear him.
Parent, you talking?
I'm talking.
Yeah, he's talking. His
I'm
mic's
talking about Hendo. Sorry, I was literally just getting up my stats for the games that I'm going to talk about when we come to it.
Wait, we're talking about... Okay.
Sorry.
And he's now waving his hands.
What is wrong with this mic?
Okay, yeah.
Technical gremlins.
Am I back?
Yes.
What the hell is wrong with my mic? Again. All right. Oh, I don't bloody know. Yeah, let's go to Florida. I've got my tail between my legs. He didn't throw for 3 touchdowns. He threw for 2 picks, though, so that was Mac Jones we knew and loved. Yeah, take it over, Jen.
Sorry. Loved. Loved. We never talked about our love for McCorkle.
Yeah, I think his mum and dad had a hard time loving him.
I was all ready to wear my Mac Jones Patriots jersey today.
You should have.
Yay. He's played crap.
There's not really much we can talk about this game. It was very, very, very boring.
Yeah.
And let's be honest, as bad as McCorkle played, Darnold kind of like moonwalked his way out of the MVP discussion more because McCorkle threw 2, Sam threw 3. So even though the Vikings got the victory, they are 7-2, which is actually quite deceptive now in the grand scheme of things. Sam Darnold's return, I mean, yes, he did throw for 241 yards as opposed to McCorkle's 111, but both quarterbacks did not particularly play well, and yet one has a 7-2 record, whilst the other one has a 2-8 record this season. Is Sam Darnold done? Have we gone out of the Sam Darnold renaissance? Has he now joined the likes of, oh God, other quarterbacks who have done the same thing, and we've gone, oh, they should be starting somewhere?
Josh Dobbs.
I was literally trying to think of Josh Dobbs and Gino, but both names went straight out of my head, even though I could.
Josh Dobbs had a bit of a purple patch last year, if you recall.
The pastronaut.
That's
Get
right.
it? Purple patch. He played for the Vikings too.
Almost like Jeremy Lin. If anybody remembers Jeremy Lin, maybe you should.
Yeah, well, he was okay for a bit.
See, I know some saying. It was insanity.
Remember Ryan Mallett? Oh, he was quality.
Didn't he win Sixth Man of the Year a few times, Jeremy Lin?
I don't know. I know he was an NBA player, and I think he played for. My NBA knowledge is not the best, but the point I'm making is he's a bit of a flash in the pan, much like Sam Darnold, much like Josh Dobbs.
Matt Jones did run in for a touchdown. Does that count?
Yeah, it's McCorkle.
I got 1 touchdown.
It was the only touchdown in the game.
It was.
Good
It was a poor game. Such a poor game. But yeah, I did predict that we've hit Sam Darnold's ceiling.
Yeah, but you also did predict the Jags to win, though. So
yeah, I know. You've taken another step further away from me.
Just like Mr. Perrins predicted the Jets to beat the Cardinals.
Look, I had to take a chance.
Just like
Shane
predicted the Giants to beat the Panthers.
Oh, boys, it came down to an OT. goal. Come on.
And we all predicted Washington to beat the Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I know,
Yeah.
right?
Aye,
How bad was
aye.
that? So bad.
Robbed.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much more we say about the game. It's just two poor teams, that game, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Even
Surprised you picked that
Justin
one.
Jefferson had a bad game.
Well,
Right
it was
from
one of
right.
the prediction games, wasn't it? So
Oh, yeah, that's probably why. That's probably why.
probably.
It comes to that time of the show, ladies and gentlemen, that you can either laugh at the 49ers or you can go and make a cup of tea. But this week we're going to make a cup of tea because they won.
Hold on, thought just momentarily. There was a point in yesterday's game where the Niners were losing and the Chiefs were losing, and I was laughing my tail off, shall we say. And I genuinely thought this was going to be a really good day. But no. Continue, boys.
Okay,
Yeah,
let's just remember
Well, thanks
this.
for that insight, Shano.
Yeah. Let's just remember.
Ooh.
Can we just remember this when the Ravens lose next week? And I'm laughing.
I was going to wear an eye patch and everything today. I really was.
I will
Mostly
get
dressed
us.
as Jack Sparrow.
I'll tell you what. I'll put this live on air now. If the Steelers beat the Ravens next week, I will buy myself a terrible towel.
Can we get two? Can we get two of them?
Sick. No!
Yeah, can we get three? Can we get three? Because I'll be doing that as well.
Boys,
Like,
thing is,
imagine the scene, right? Literally, during while like Shane's reviewing the game, we're all literally just like twirling these yellow towels.
You guys are welcome to join on this, but I will actually go onto Fanatics and buy myself a terrible towel.
Oh, no,
Same.
I've got it.
Pay me to buy one.
Yeah, I'll do it.
You see
Boys,
the Matt Judon picture there? I'll pin it permanently so it's under Matt Judon.
Sick. Disgusting behaviour.
But yeah, the Niners game.
Horrible.
I know what happened at the end, but we need a new kicker.
So I really struggle when it comes to talking about Jake Moody because he's almost like, if you go on social media after the game yesterday, I played football during the second half of the 49er game. So I kicked off when we were winning, and then when we finished, we were literally down, and it was like the final drive, and I'm literally just using like the Live Score app, literally just like refreshing it every second. Watching Brock Purdy's like the little line of like Brock Purdy leading the team down the field.
The little line moving up the field.
Yeah, which I love. I get really excited about. And like
excited about
on social media, he's become almost like a bit of a lovable loser. Like some 49ers fans literally go, I hate Moody. He needs to be cut. And he goes, oh yeah, Moody, yeah, you never know what you're gonna get. It's always like cardiac arrest every time he plays. And like it's kind of like I've never actually forgiven him for the PAT and the field goals, plural, that he missed during the Super Bowl that would have sealed the game for us. Like, if he would have hit those field goals that he missed, we win the Super Bowl and we stop this crap about the Chiefs going for a three-peat. So I've never forgiven him for that. And him being injured, well, I just think whoever's in charge of special teams recruitment also needs to be fired because the ones that we brought in I didn't particularly rate either.
I think anyone involved in special teams needs to be fired. How Brian Schneider still has a job with the 49ers, I will never know.
He must have new pictures of Carl Shanahan. Like, that's the only way that he's got a job. Like, he must have new pictures of Carl Shanahan and
Kittle.
Yeah, and John Lynch, literally in some form of like intimate embrace. Like, that's all I'm going to say on the air. That's because like there is no reason why Jake Moody should still have a job on the 49ers, and curse any of you that will perchance buy me a Jake Moody jersey for our Secret Santa. Curse, like that would be worse than me getting that one a Dilfer, that one a Tebow, and I would never do anything horrible to you, baby, because all the 49er players are legends. So that's kind of
Jake Moody.
Why would you tell me? Do what? Goodbye, Trent Dilfer. I have given a name to my pain, and his name is Jake Moody. He nearly made it Moody Blues today. But yeah, we won. I mean, we go 5-4. We realistically shouldn't have like made it as close as it was. Special teams are a massive hindrance to us. They were last year. They nearly cost us the game this year. This game shouldn't have been as close as it was ultimately. Special teams let us down, and I want to say, oh, Kyle should really sort it out by next week, but he hasn't sorted it out for 2 years. So
just a quick shout out to Purdy. I mean, 16 for 25, 353 yards, 2 touchdowns. Only 5 people received the ball. All had at least 50 yards receiving. Ricky Pearsall scored his first touchdown of the year, which is great to see. Like 10 weeks after he was shot. I mean, he looks like he could be a great acquisition.
Yes.
The defense was questionable though.
Yeah. I still think there's massive issues on our defense. I feel for Bosa in a way because he is the only one getting pressures because the rest of our line are either injured or honestly not good enough.
I saw Fred Warner whenever I looked on Red Zone, Fred Warner was literally in BakerMayfield's face.
Oh no, I'm sorry, I missed that. When I'm talking about actual defensive line pressures, there is no reason, because realistically, Fred Warner shouldn't be blitzing every play. He shouldn't be. Yeah, you would never expect it. So when I'm seeing across that line, both is getting done. I actually think our secondary is possibly our now strongest point on that defense because we look really solid in our secondary, which is something that we've talked about for years. That has actually been a weakness, and we've actually invested in some decent draft picks. And our first 3 draft picks, baby, you must agree with me as well, have been absolutely dynamite in the draft this year. John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan were fantastic. We've lost Brandon Ayuk for the season and possibly even longer because of his ACL. But have we missed him? Because Ricky's just walked straight out of A&E with a hole in his chest. With a hole in his chest, and he's just literally walked off the field with his first touchdown. He's amazing. I love Slick Rick.
Just going back to the defense for a second, the Bucky Irving touchdown, I think, showed how much we miss Dre Greenlaw.
Yes.
Because if you watch the Bucky Irving touchdown, Fred Warner tries to cut the routes, and usually if he'd do that, Dre Greenlaw would go on top of the route.
Yes.
Whereas Fred Warner cuts the route and Devondre Campbell gets blocked.
That though, I think that goes back to Fred Warner still trying to do everything. I've said before about he plays linebacker, but he's built like a tight end, but he is all over the place like a wide receiver. He is Superman on that defense.
I really love watching Fred Warner play football.
I do. I think he could possibly go down as one of our greatest all-time, not just players, but also not just best linebackers, because I think he's up there with Willis and Bowman. Yeah. And I think he's kind of there. But I do think without Dre Greenlaw, who he loves, and his partner in crime is almost like Robin to his Batman. I think he generally tries to do too much in that middle area. So instead of focusing on his responsibility, he's also trying to do other people's. And that just speaks volumes about him as a captain and him as a leader. And I love that about him. But I think it's because he doesn't trust maybe some of his other teammates to do what he would expect Greenlaw to do for him. You see where I'm coming from now? I'm not trying to bury him with his teammates, but you do, when you have that chemistry and you have that partnership and an effective partnership as well, when you lose somebody, you kind of try and low-key try and do their job for them at the same time, even though you probably don't necessarily need to do that. But it's not perfect, but Fred is Fred.
But I would like to say, I do feel for Baker Mayfield. He couldn't have done any more against the Chiefs last week, and he couldn't have done any more against the Niners this week, and his defense has let him down both weeks.
And he's doing it with his 2 biggest weapons as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Whenever I saw it, he had someone in his face. He'd made a run or pass. I can't remember what it was after. With literally one of your defenders hanging off his non-throwing arm.
So Bosa decided to grab his arm and try and push him out of bounds instead of just, doing his job and tackling him. And he made the throw to Cade Otton. But
Did you
Absolutely.
see all that? Did you see all those social media things about like why Bosa didn't sack Baker Mayfield?
No.
no.
I'll tell you off air.
Okay.
Can we just talk about one of Purdy's throws though?
Stay tuned for our Patreon for that one.
The one off his back foot where he looked like he just went and threw it, and then McCaffrey caught it about 30 yards down the field.
Yeah.
Boys, how good must it be? How good must it be to wait 10 weeks to get your favorite weapon back? How good must it feel?
It feels good to have him back. It
Thank you for
feels
that.
very
Anyway,
good to have him
Oh,
back.
yeah. I was going to say. I thought you actually froze them mid-sentence, baby. But like, no, that was actually your pause.
Yeah, someone say
Yeah.
something, please.
Shane loves a pause for dramatic effect. He does it at the start of every show.
I do. Landstorm's finest. See, Landstorm's finest.
So I do think it was great having him back. It expanded the field. We got a lot more players involved. We still have huge red zone issues, like where Brock will, march the team downfield, and it's almost like watching a Greg Roman offense again, baby, if you remember, where we would march all the way down and we'd just then not be able to punch it, and then we'd settle for a field goal. But this time around, we have a kicker that we might score from, might not score from. I mean,
50, what are you on about?
I mean,
isn't his record like 50% as well? Like, it's really it's scary how low his.
Last year, who couldn't hit a barn door from half a yard out, and this year he's hitting 55-yard bombs for bloody Arizona. Cheers,
I
Chad.
know.
the important thing is Drake Moody scored the important 3 points at the end to win the game. Speaking of teams that score 3 points, Ollie, what happened to the Bears against you guys?
Can we play you every week? Can we
I
play
said-
you every week? Oh, mate. Defense stepped up. Special teams almost stepped up. And the offense stepped up. We found our running game. We sacked Caleb Williams 9 times, which is a record equaling since when we were the Boston Patriots back in the 60s.
Oh, the
Wait,
Boston
they were
Patriots, they were
Boston Patriots. I
quality.
didn't know that. Why I didn't know they called that.
The Boston Patriots back in the 60s.
He's
mate.
going to go, I didn't know the Colts used to be the Baltimore Colts next.
Oh, wait, I knew that. I knew that. Yeah, he's on one tonight, mind did he?
Hey,
He's
do
got-
you know the LA Raiders used to be the LA Raiders before they moved to St. Louis?
Tennessee used to be the Oilers.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, Tennessee used to be the Oilers. So when they have like their color rush and they actually wear the Oilers and they're playing Tennessee, it's so good. It's so confusing.
The baby's only now recovering from his new drinking game. Isn't that right?
Baby, baby, baby.
Yes. So for those of you who
Baby's looking
No.
at turkey. He's a little bit hungover.
who don't know, our illustrious young compadre above me, our beautiful baby Hope, was playing drinking games on the weekend with his friends. He actually put the podcast on for his friends, which, to be honest, that's something I do when I've had a drink as well. But then he was basically making his friends and himself drink every time someone called him baby on the show.
I'm sorry.
So God
I
knows
was
he
making
was
my
on.
friends. I think you'll find my friends were making me.
Oh, potato, come on. The point is, we're going to call you baby as much as we can.
To be fair,
Always, baby, always.
Ollie actually called me Ollie earlier, not baby.
Who? Wait, there's only one Ollie. We don't know two Ollies, do we, Phil? No, we don't. No.
Shaking head there.
Sorry, can't help you.
Yeah, I mean, Matt Eberflus is the issue in Chicago. I mean, we said this last season. We gave him the benefit of the doubt because they started reasonably well in Chicago. They were, 3-1 at one point? But they have just given up on him. They really have. I mean, we talked about it last week when DJ Moore walked off the field mid-play.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's like what DJ Moore said in the press conference.
Remind me? Sorry?
So he got asked, has Matt Eberflus lost the dressing room? He said, well, I want to say no.
Oh,
Yeah, he's done. He's absolutely done that. I mean, Patriots, though, this was Patriots of old. Grind you down, beat you, with their run game and then let the quarterback throw. And Mondrick, yes, he only had 74 yards, but he had 20 carries, and it was good 3-4 yard carries, and just literally pounded you. Let's not forget, this was our 11th different O-line combination at this season in 10 games.
That's crazy.
And yet this is probably the best O-line they've had together. We've signed 2 practice squad members from different teams. One from the Raiders and one from the Browns. Both started. Only one guy has started every single game. That's Michael Onwenu. And he's still not playing in his normal position. He played right guard. He's a right tackle. But yeah, it just looked a completely enough and different game. And for once I wasn't going, please. I was like quite relaxed. And it's like, Chicago just didn't get anything going. The only thing they had was when Drake made a rookie throw, which is what it is. But he came back, and whatever Coach Mayo said after the London game has worked, because they've now gone 2-1. They were unlucky not to beat Tennessee last week in overtime. They should have done. They're on the way. There are a few things going on. They told Kendrick Bourne that they're going to give more of the younger guys a chance. So hence he had no targets. I think he had about 4 or 5 snaps, but they were mainly on like special teams. And Booty, Keyshawn, and Jalen Polk both stepped up. Polk with the touchdown. Booty is now looking like he is Drake May's number 1 target on the wide receiver, especially going down deep. Always tries and gets him. He trusts him a lot. Pop Douglas, he was getting into space and making players miss after the tackle. This team looked so much better, and the defense was absolutely phenomenal.
I think it's quite interesting what Matt Eberflus had to say today.
Yeah.
He said he's in the process of evaluations, and he said there will be changes, adjustments being made. I'm not going to disclose those right now. And then he was asked, will there be a change of quarterback? And he said no.
Caleb Williams is not the problem in our offense.
But the problem is Matt Eberflus is. So
yeah, the whole coaching staff is an issue.
The thing is, I really like Ryan Poles as a GM too, but I'm worried that if Flus goes, so will Poles.
I think the thing is, though, I think Poles has done a really good job with the players he's brought in. The way he's drafted is really, really good. Now look at that.
Yeah, the trade for the first, what he got for the first pick. What he got for that first pick.
Exactly. He's got everything. He's given
He is Sonny Weaver Jr.
I watched that the other night.
So did I, actually.
He's given Matt Eberflus everything that you could possibly want. You've got a very good O-line. Yes, you're missing 3 of your starting O-liners. Fair enough. We all get injuries across the league. You've got probably one of the best prospects coming to the league since probably God knows when. You've got 3 bloody good wide receivers. You've got an incredibly running back. You've got probably some of the best pass rushers and best defensive backs in the league. And yet you had Drake May had no pressures. He only had 1 sack. And yet your O-line gave up 51 pressures against Caleb Williams and got sacked 9 times. There is an issue on the coaching side, not the management side in Chicago. Baby.
No offense to the Patriots in this, but your defense isn't exactly groundbreaking.
Oh, God.
I mean, how many points did the Jags put on you?
But agreed. But look at the team since. Look how much they've turned around. They've got better.
Yeah, but to only put 3 points on you with Rome Odunze, DJ Moore, and Keenan Allen, who are 3 very good wide receivers, DeAndre Swift, who's a premier running back, and to only score 3 points in 60 minutes of football.
Something all right there.
So there's a couple of stats that come from this game on the Chicago side. Cole Kmet never had a reception for 6 quarters until the second half of this game. And they haven't scored a touchdown in 22 drives.
Wow. What's going on, boys? It's got to be Eberflus. It's got to be. Roma Dunze came from the draft with high expectations. Boys, what has he actually done?
He scored a few touchdowns.
And he's
hasn't lit the world on fire.
If I would still take Roma Dunze over Marvin Harrison.
I'd take Neighbours before him.
Because
both of them.
me personally, I prefer Roma Dunze's skill sets to Marvin Harrison. Marvin Harrison's a great big-bodied wide receiver and has got all the skill sets, but I prefer Roma Dunze's. And I think if you put him in like San Francisco, a Miami,
Buffalo,
Detroit, that kind
Buffalo.
of offense, I don't think he'd thrive in Buffalo.
No?
Yeah.
I think he would thrive, and you would see massive numbers from him. But I do think there's a lot of issues behind the doors that Brian Pauls needs to sort out in Chicago. Happy Monday, though.
First time it's been victory. All 3 of our teams have won. I can't say it's all victory Monday because one of our teams played on Thursday and somehow won.
It's victory Monday to us to an extent.
It's a victory game week.
Yeah.
So,
victory game week, yeah.
Was Jared Goff auditioned to be the new Oprah?
And where
You get a pick. You get a pick. You get a pick.
You'll get a pick.
The rumours is that he was unwell going into that game anyway. But what the hell did Dan Campbell save that team on halftime? Because that was 2 completely different teams.
Yeah.
Completely.
Maybe he did the whole if there's a light in the end of the tunnel, it's a freight train, so get out the way thing again.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen some of the odds this way, and again, Detroit's odds being lashed to win the Super Bowl.
I think Dan Campbell had some balls leaving Jared Goff in that game after 3 picks in the first half.
Oh God, yeah. Go on then.
You say balls, but
can we say balls?
Well, it's after 9 o'clock, so we'll be fine there. You say balls, but like that doesn't really surprise me because everything that we've seen around that team. Now, if you take Jared Goff out as he's thrown like 3 picks, okay, and you go, they go on to lose or they go on to win. That question all week is, does he start Jared Goff? Like, did he start? Whilst leaving him in, yes, he made the 3 or the 2 extra picks, so he got 5 overall. But they still won. So even though he had a bad game, the team still won. And again, like I said about like the pressure point of being a quarterback, it is a high pressure job. But he still got the job done despite not playing well at all. And I think ultimately, I think Dan Campbell is more that type of person where we're in this mess, let's see through this mess together as a team. Yep. You're my leader, you're my captain, by the way. I'm not taking you out because I don't want to start that precedent, because I don't want you to feel, your confidence be knocked, because when you get pulled out of the game from bad play, it knocks your confidence. It does. Like it's like in any sport where if you're part of the team and you get like hooked and you play bad, or even if you played well, your confidence literally plummets. And I think from a management point of view, leaving him in the game is better than taking him out. Genuinely.
I was just comparing it to Christmas last year when Shanahan took Purdy out after he threw his 4th pick.
Absolutely, but then we did get absolutely humbled afterwards, didn't we? So,
I mean,
Kyle Shanahan, I always feel, and we know this being like 49ers fans, that to us, the outside world, Kyle is very cold. He doesn't come across as personable. He doesn't come across as relatable. Whilst everyone in the organization loves Kyle Shanahan. Like we hear stories about like ex-players that have moved on. They literally can't wait to come and see like practice or when they play the 49ers or be around that organization again, because they love Kyle. You've never heard really any players badmouth him, past, present.
Yeah,
And
the biggest example of that, I think, is Aziz Al Shahir, who I can't remember the divisional game or the NFC Championship game. He was on the field doing the linebackers chant with the linebackers just before the game kicked off.
Yeah.
What is wrong with CJ Stroud at the moment?
Regression. I say regression. Second season syndrome.
He had people have figured him out because now he's got tape on tape.
Yeah.
Because he got what? Oh, tape. Oh, okay. Yeah, I got your tape. Yeah. No, I get that. Is it because they haven't had these sexy, expansive, elaborate plays? Their playbook looks pretty simple whenever I watch them.
It is simple.
It looks a very simple playbook. I mean, don't ask me to read it, but when you're looking there and watching it, the routes look very similar to every week. I mean, me and Mr. Payne's picked off games week in and week out on the Titans. But yeah,
they tried a trick play last night, and Joe Mixon ended up losing 6 yards on it.
Mr. P.
Tom Brady said quite recently, didn't he, about quarterback, and we talked about this on Thursday as well. Quarterbacks having dumbed down playbooks, that they're not being challenged, they're not being pressured into kind of like, evolving. CJ Stroud had a great year last year, as rookie of the season. He had a phenomenal season. Baby said there's tape on him now, and he hasn't changed the way he plays. And we've mentioned their playbook, very simple routes, very simple, HB draws, very easy kind of like curls and verticals and posts. Like, it's very simple playbook. And now obviously D'Amico is a defensive-minded coach, so he's probably not as hands-in with the offensive side of things. However, their playbook is so simple and basic, it's not really pushing CJ Stroud to that next level. So he's plateaued because, like we said, he's been found out. Bryce Young had a horrible year last year, and Bryce Young is starting to play better because he's probably being coached better mechanics. He's not perfect by any means, and I still think CJ is a better quarterback than him. But we're seeing an adaptation in his game as opposed to CJ, who looks to have plateaued.
Shane.
I think with Bryce Young, it's all about expectation. Last year, he was a very high draft pick. Sorry, he was the first draft pick off the board. So the expectation is there almost immediately. He done nothing. He was never going to live up to that. I mean, don't get me wrong. Jaden Daniels and Drake May have done really well this year. But again, they weren't the number one pick. So I think with now the pressures off Bryce Young a little bit, it's a case of, look, we're not going to win a Super Bowl. Go and enjoy yourself. Go and remember why you played this game. As Phil said earlier on, playing yesterday against the Giants, he had a massive smile on his face. That's probably the happiest he's been in about a year, over a year, because he's got the pressure of a fan base and the ownership on his shoulders as a number one pick. You expect it to hit the ground running. People forget that they're not just athletes, they're people as well. Again, back to what Phil said again, it knocks your confidence when you don't play well. So, Canal has probably said to Bryce Young, go on, enjoy yourself. Don't worry about it. We win, great. If we don't, that's fine as well.
Completely agree on that one. Yeah. I mean, the Texans are going to win that division. The FC South is a poor division. So they're going to get themselves into the playoffs again, which is where they wanted to be. Obviously, they needed to go further, but yeah, they need to play incredibly better. There's an old age saying in our soccer, winning ugly wins you championships. But yeah. Right, talk about winning ugly. Let's round up with the other games very quickly. Winning ugly, the Chiefs keep up their unbeaten record, but were run incredibly close by the unlucky Broncos. Will Lutz last second field goal was blocked to help the Chiefs to a 16-14 win. Oh, God. And bloody...
It's happening again, isn't it? It's happening.
Super Bowl. Who uncharacteristically, get my words in, missed 3 field goals to help the Saints beat the Falcons 2017.
New manager bounce is real.
Yeah. The Bills picked off Joe Flacco 3 times, helped themselves to a 30-20 win over the Colts. The Chargers beat the number 1 scoring defense Titans, which is the weirdest thing I've ever heard because they're sitting at 2-7, 27-17. And oh my God, I just remember this. Bloody Justin Herbert's sexy little sidestep yesterday. Oh my, that was so sweet. And Jerry Jones, the Cowboys owner, is insisting on blinding his players. I don't get the building of that stadium at all, as the Cowboys lose to the Eagles 34-6 in the divisional matchup. Mr. Pink?
2 things about that Cowboys game. One, my American football team at school, that was the first thing that my quarterback said, like when he threw a pass and he missed completely. He looked at me and went, "Sir, it's like I'm playing in Cowboys Stadium." Like, he got it instantly. Massive shout out to Danny there. And then secondly,
you love saying my quarterback, don't you? You love saying my quarterback. My team.
I love him. He's a great lad. He's a 49er fan as well, so he's obviously learning from the best. Also, like talking about, let me just get that stats up, by the way. The Cowboys were bad. They only scored 2 field goals for the entire game. In fact, they did not score at all in the second half. We have seen now probably the Trey Lance experiment dead. He is done. He is not going to be playing pro football quarterback anytime soon. He might be in the USFXL next year. He might even be in the CFL next year. He might even be back in NFL Europe. Hell, I might even see him play.
Quarter.
Huh?
He only came in the third quarter.
Yes, and he threw for 21 yards and he threw an interception. So let's not say anything good about him because he did not play well. I think that is kind of done for Trey Lance. Well done. Thank you so much. Goodbye. I'll see you playing for the Bedford Blackhawks.
Bedford Blackhawks, is that a real team?
No, it's not the name of it. That's the local team.
I like that. That's cool.
St. Louis Blackhawks are mine.
Are they really? Wow.
It's only because I feel sorry for St. Louis not having a team. So the team up. You know, I keep an eye on results. I don't watch the XFL because right, Monday Night Football.
Football.
Yeah. Monday Night Football, Stafford versus Tua. Yeah.
We're all Dolphins fans tonight, right?
Yes.
No. Hey, we've got a better record than New York and Miami in our division. Who said that at the start of the year?
That's insane. No Tyreek Hill tonight, mind either.
No.
I missed that.
Yeah, he's questionable.
Yeah.
Sorry, Andy.
Yeah. How are we seeing this one, gentlemen?
I actually think
Dolphins.
Yeah, I also actually think Dolphins.
Nah.
No.
Nah. It's going to be It's going to be a Matt Stafford show.
Oh,
I think it's going to be the Tua show.
Nah.
Ollie is Tua.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, Ollie, say something nice about Tua.
He's a man. He's a bloke. He's tall. He's got hair. I don't know. I think about athletic ability. He can do.
He's got a left hand.
That's disgusting.
We should get t-shirts.
He can throw a ball with his left hand. Oh, hang on, he's left-handed.
Football's not well.
He can run. Is that something nice? He can run? No, I can't do it. Well, that's getting Family Guy when they bring someone in from a TV show. You've got to say something nice about him. You've got nice hair. Right. It is that time of the show where we say goodnight, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, as always, for tuning in, listening, watching, downloading. However you have tuned into us this episode. We'll be back on Thursday for our usual shenanigans. But until then, ladies and gentlemen, good night and stay safe all.